So what are the COVID rules for Queensland?
Yep. So the current legislation that's been passed is the 6-month moratorium on evictions, but it will only apply to tenancies where the tenant's income has been reduced as a result of COVID-19. The other tenants, so if they've sort of not been affected by that, but trying to fudge the system, I guess, then obviously we can still evict them if we, obviously investigate and find that to be the case. They are still asking tenants and property owners to work together to find a middle ground that everyone can be happy with. So they are saying they are working on guidelines to support both parties to reach agreement, but basically what that means is they just want us to go to RTA for conciliation meetings. There's no actual guidelines set out just yet. Basically I would say just open communication, have discussions with both parties and try and find a middle ground at this point in time, or something that's fair in the meantime while they're waiting for funding to come through and all that stuff. The tenants will have to demonstrate a genuine financial distress from COVID-19, and it needs to meet the standards. So they need to show at least a 25% reduction in income. And the guideline is that their rent should not be more than 30% of their income. So we can now ask them to provide that information, so to provide payslips, to provide bank statements, income statements from Centrelink, or proof from Centrelink that they've applied for all the assistance, so that we can then establish that it's a genuine claim, and then we can discuss obviously reduction in rent. So we're also doing virtual inspections, which is basically done through FaceTime, and getting the tenants to send through photos of each area, as well as let us know as usual what needs fixing or anything that's issues of concern that needs to be done. So if they do decide to break lease, the break lease is capped only where there's been a 75% loss of income. So then they will only need to pay the 1 week's break lease fee, so 1 week's rent plus GST. They don't have to pay ongoing rent as per a normal break lease, but they have to provide proof that they've lost 75% of their income. If not, then the normal break lease applies. Tenancies that expire during the crisis will roll over to September only. So before it was discussed that we have to give them a 6-month extension on their lease, but now it's only up to September 30th. And that's also, again, only if they are impacted by COVID. So again, we're providing all the necessary proof. And then obviously there's been a $20 million rental grant fund that complements the existing Centrelink support. But even though that's been approved and a lot of people have applied for it, not a lot of people qualify for it. So there are criteria that has to be met. So same thing, they have to provide evidence that their income has reduced by 25%, that they don't have savings accounts, all sorts of other things before they actually qualify for it. But that's sort of in general the new regulations.